Okay, guys, so if you didn't see it already, there's been a little bit of discussion on it, but today, well, yesterday when you're watching this, Mod Shogun and Mod Jack had some interesting announcements on a project that they are working on, which is coming out next month, and it's a bit of a shocker. Jagex are removing all herb drops from bosses. That's right. Every single herb drop is disappearing. And instead of herb drops, they're going to be dropping seeds to said herbs instead. And I know what you're thinking. That sounds terrifying. Absolutely cataclysmically awful. But there's a catch. They're crafty little devils, aren't they? Crafty devils. So basically, what they're doing instead is they're doing a little farming update where you will essentially be allowed to plant up to 10 seeds at once. So what that means is that when you grow your herbs, which also, by the way, can no longer die, they can get diseased, you have to cure them, but they can no longer die. So you can plant 10 seeds and you can harvest about 10 seeds worth of herbs in a single patch. So what this means is your farm runs are going to become, about 10 times more lucrative. I don't think it's quite 10 times. I think it's like diminishing returns, but probably about like 7 or 8 times more lucrative than they otherwise would be. So you'll be getting a lot of herbs every time you do a farm run. A lot of herbs. But in return, you shall gain 0 herbs from doing bosses, but you will gain lots of seeds. Slayer mobs are basically staying the same. They will still drop their herbs. It's literally just bosses right now, and it's an interesting idea. Like their reasoning was basically like skillers should make profit, and skilling should be the main source of where herbs come from, which it does make some sense. It does make sense. There's definitely an argument for that. So yeah, they're doing that. It's coming out sometime in November, and I'm not sure what to think about it, to be honest. Like I'm very neutral. I'm like, I do quite like my herbs and bosses, but at the same time, if it makes farming this good, then getting the herbs that I actually need really will not take too long, because like you'll harvest so many per patch now. So it really won't be that big a deal, I don't think. But yeah, let me know what you guys think on that one. It's definitely a curious discussion. Like I'm very much in the middle because well, first of all, I feel like it's come out of nowhere. I feel all the skills that like have an unbalanced like PVM to skilling ratio. I feel like generally farmers are pretty happy with how things are. Like you see quite a few people doing farm runs. You see people doing bosses for herbs. You see people farming for herbs. Like everyone kind of wins right now. Like herbs are decently expensive, so like the profit is there and everything. So I'm kind of surprised they're doing herbal, but maybe they're doing herbal like to test the waters. It's like a little like low risk strategy, I guess, to test the water for potentially doing other things. Like for example, magic logs in the future potentially. Like they are very much obtained from PVM right now, aren't they? But woodcutting is just dreadfully slow. So maybe they had that on the list somewhere. They were like, hey, woodcutting could take a look, but they chose to do farming and herbal instead. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. Like I'm really not sure what to think. But yeah, that is what's happening. 10 seeds per farming patch, no death. There will be disease, but no death. So you'll harvest loads and loads. And I don't know what happens to insta-grow potions from player-owned farms. But I'm assuming they can insta-grow all the 10 seeds at once, which is more like 6 or 7 seeds, as I said. Because of diminishing returns. You put in more seeds, you get more output, but it's not quite as efficient, because like the herbs are fighting for water or whatever, So that all makes sense. But yeah, it's yeah, I feel like a lot of people haven't been talking about it. There's been like a couple of discussion points on Reddit, but really not as many discussions as I expected to see. But I imagine a lot of you watching this video on the tubes are probably mostly unaware of what's going on. So yeah, do let me know what you think about that in the comments. They also mentioned something about like unlocks as well. Like I think you like unlock the ability to plant more seeds at once. I don't know if that's gonna be like with beans or farming reputation or what. They haven't been very specific. Hopefully it's not like, hey, after you harvest 20,000 herbs, you get to plant one more seed per patch, because that would suck. But who knows? But either way, it's an update by Mod Shogun again, which if you guys remember the divination update that happened, he also did that one, and I think that's come to be a very, very well liked update. So I've got confidence. He is a crafty one. He's very crafty, but his skilling updates at least have been very good. So we'll have to hope that this one achieves similar results. But yeah, I just thought I'd update you guys on that. Tell me what you think, and yeah, 10 herb seeds at once coming to a farming patch near you. So yeah, get panic buying, panic selling. I don't know, do something. Just panic.